Have you ever looked up at the night sky and seen something you just couldn't explain? On the night of March 13, 1997, thousands of people across Arizona witnessed exactly that. What they saw would become one of the most famous and compelling mass UFO sightings in modern history, the Phoenix Lights. It all started around 7:30 p.m. in Henderson, Nevada. A man reported seeing a massive, V-shaped object with 5 lights on its leading edge, flying silently overhead. Over the next 3 hours, this mysterious craft, or series of crafts, would traverse over 300 miles of Arizona airspace. Reports flooded in from towns like Prescott and Dewey, describing a gigantic, dark, boomerang-shaped object blotting out the stars as it passed. Witnesses consistently described it as being absolutely enormous. Some said it was as big as several football fields and completely silent. This wasn't a distant, blurry light. For many, it was a low-flying, structured craft that passed directly over their heads. The event unfolded in 2 distinct phases. The first was this V-shaped object. One of the most credible witnesses was a pilot named Kurt Russell. Yes, the actor. He was flying his private plane with his son and reported seeing a bank of 6 lights heading towards the airport. He radioed it in as an unidentified aircraft, but air traffic control saw nothing on their radar. Then, around 10 p.m., the second phase began over the city of Phoenix. A series of stationary, amber-colored orbs appeared in the sky, hovering in an arc formation. This is the image that most people associate with the Phoenix Lights, largely because it was captured on video and broadcast on news channels across the country. Thousands of people pulled over on the freeways, got out of their cars, and just stared up in disbelief. The lights hung there for several minutes before slowly fading out, one by one. The official explanation from the military came swiftly. They claimed the 10 p.m. lights were simply flares dropped by A-10 Warthog aircraft during a training exercise at the Barry M. Goldwater Range. They even produced video of the exercise to support their claim. For many, this seemed plausible. Military flares are bright, they can appear to hover as they fall, and the range is in the right general area. But for the witnesses, this explanation didn't add up. Many who saw the earlier V-shaped craft insisted that what they saw was a solid object, not a formation of individual lights or flares. They described seeing a structure, a black mass that blocked the starlight between the lights. How could flares explain a silent, mile-wide craft flying slowly and deliberately for hundreds of miles? The military's explanation also didn't fully account for the timeline. The flare drop exercise, codenamed Operation Snowbird, seemed to only explain the 10 p.m. event, leaving the earlier, more widespread sightings of the massive V-shaped object completely unaccounted for. The public outcry was immense. People felt dismissed and even ridiculed. The governor of Arizona at the time, Fife Symington, initially made light of the situation at a press conference, bringing out an aide dressed in an alien costume. It was a move he would later come to regret. Years later, after leaving office, Symington came forward with a stunning admission. He revealed that he too had witnessed the giant, V-shaped craft on that night in 1997. He described it as otherworldly and enormous, stating definitively that it was not flares or any man-made object he recognized. He apologized for mocking the incident, explaining he was trying to prevent mass panic. His testimony gave a huge boost of credibility to the thousands of other witnesses. Here was a former Air Force pilot and the highest-ranking state official admitting he saw the same inexplicable thing they did. Other credible witnesses also came forward, including police officers, pilots, and air traffic controllers, many of whom were hesitant to speak out for fear of damaging their careers. One controller from Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix reported seeing the object on his scope, but was told by a supervisor to basically ignore it and not talk about it. So what was it? The debate rages on to this day. Skeptics hold firm to the flare explanation, suggesting that all the sightings can be attributed to a combination of military activity and misidentification of conventional aircraft by excited observers. They argue that the V-shape was just a formation of planes, and the structure was a trick of the mind, the brain filling in the gaps between the lights. They point to the lack of hard physical evidence, no crash debris, no definitive radar data released to the public, as a key reason to doubt the extraordinary claims. On the other side, believers and researchers argue that the sheer volume and consistency of witness testimony cannot be ignored. Thousands of unrelated people, from all walks of life, across a vast geographical area, describe the exact same thing, a silent, massive, structured craft. The idea that all of them were simultaneously mistaken in the same way strikes many as less plausible than the idea that they actually saw something truly anomalous. They argue that the official flare story is a convenient cover-up, designed to quell public curiosity about a technology far beyond our own. The Phoenix Lights incident remains a powerful example of the mystery that still surrounds the UFO phenomenon. It wasn't a fleeting glimpse of a distant light. It was a prolonged, close-up encounter witnessed by an entire population. It had credible witnesses, video evidence, and an official explanation that, for many, created more questions than answers. It forces us to confront a fascinating possibility. What if we are not alone? And what if, on a clear March night in 1997, something from beyond our world paid a visit to the skies over Arizona? What do you think? Were the Phoenix Lights just military flares and mass hysteria? Or was it something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoy exploring these kinds of mysteries, be sure to subscribe for more. See you next time.